In this video, we're going to go through everything you need to know about Revit 2025, and we're going to go from the start. If you're a beginner that's never touched Revit, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. And by the end of the video, we're actually going to model your first house. So it's very simple, it's very quick. I'm not going to give you any unnecessary information. This is only the necessary information you need to understand in order to go from complete beginner to someone that's actually proficient in Revit. And let's start. So this is the user interface that you are greeted with when you open Revit 2025. You'll see that there's two panes, sort of. There's one on the side here, this big strip, and then there's one in the middle. You'll see it says models, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different models. These are the different sample projects that Revit gives you, so you can open them and have a look, right? There's this thing called families, and the difference between a family and a model is families are the components that go inside models, right? So if I'm building a car, the car has small components inside. It has a steering wheel, it has an engine, it has a seat, right? So the seat, the steering wheel, and the engine, we can consider them to be families. But the whole overall chassis of the car, we're going to consider that to be the model, right? So the models are like chairs, families, tables that go inside the building, which is going to be our model, okay? So without further ado, let's actually start this. If I want to create a new project, all I do is go to models and I go new. It's going to ask me what template I want to use. So Revit has these templates that you can use. And if I'm an architect, I'm going to click architectural template, click OK, and Revit's going to open this template for us. So a template is pretty much just has a collection of sheets and a collection of settings so that you can use this over and over again in different projects, right? That's all you need to know. When you open Revit, you will see that there is a ribbon at the top over here. And then there are two sort of little sections over here. One says properties, one says project browser. So there's three things. There's the ribbon, there's the properties, project browser, right? 1, 2, 3. These are the three important things that we actually use in order to model and in order to use Revit effectively, okay? What you can do is you can actually pull these out. You can hover over properties and you can pull this out and you can make this floating. You can hover over project browser, pull this out, and you can make this floating as well, right? And you can sort of snap this onto the other side, and you can snap this onto this side. So Revit is very capable of doing different sort of functions and moving things around so that you have the project browser on one side, the properties on one side, and the ribbon on the top, right? Different people model different ways. So what you would notice is that with your ribbon, you have different tabs over here: architecture, structure, steel, precast, and all of these different things. For now, all you need to know is that you can actually start modeling using the ribbon. That's all you need to know, because when you start using Revit, you'll understand why we need to use them, okay? So if you're an architect, you will spend most of your time here placing walls, doors, windows, columns, ceilings, roofs, floors, right? If you are an MAP engineer, you'll be spending your time in the systems tab, and you'll be placing ducts and pipes and plumbing and sprinklers. If you're a fire engineer, all these things, right? So let's go back to architecture because you're an architect. And let's just say that I want to place a floor. A house has three things. Well, it has more than that, but let's just build a really basic one. A floor, walls, a roof, right? If we place these three things, it's considered shelter. So let's actually start doing this. Let's place a floor. What we can do is Revit has all of these for us. Some of them have drop downs like this. Some of them don't have drop downs like the ceiling. If there is a drop down, there's multiple options that we can select, right? If there's not a drop down, there's only one type of the thing we can select. So a floor, there's architectural floors and structural floors. Don't worry about the different types. Let's just go architectural floor. If we go architectural floor, you'll see that on the properties tab, there's a drop down here. You can actually select the type of floor, okay? Because you can place a floor, but you need to know that you can select a type of floor. You can actually go down here and you can change the type of floor. What if you have a slab of concrete, which is a certain thickness? What if you have a slab plus tile? What if you have a slab plus timber? We can actually go into Revit later on. We can adjust what the material is so that we can actually place the floor, okay? So if we go and we select floor, just the first one, the random one, what you'll see is you have modify, create floor boundary. This is a new tab which came up. Before we were on architecture, but as soon as we clicked floor, this modified tab popped out of nowhere. So what this is it is the area for us to start drawing our floor out, okay? You'll see that it says boundary line. If we select that, we can actually then select a rectangle and we can place a floor like this from here to here. And once you're done, if you click finish edit mode, now your floor is on the Revit model. That's the first thing that we've ever done, okay? what you'll notice is that you can't actually move and see this in 3D. This is 2D, okay? Bird's eye view. You're looking at it from the top. If you want to go to 3D, you have to click this and click BX. If you click BX or you select it and select this section box, you'll actually go to the 3D view. And you'll see that it's created, it's like Google Chrome. It's created an additional tab over here. So it says 3D, and then this is your 2D. So you can toggle from 2D to 3D. And in this 3D, you can zoom in and out using your mouse. You can pan just by clicking the center. So if you have your scroll wheel, if you select the scroll wheel, the center, you know how you can click it? You can actually move around. And if you hold the shift key, then you can start to rotate. Those are the three things you need to know, right? If you zoom in and out, you rotate around the thing, and you can pan, you can do anything in Revit. That's all you need to know. So we have our floor here. Let's just say that on top of a floor, we want to add a wall. Well, it's very simple. We go over here, you go to wall, we go to architectural wall. And what we can do is we can then select this rectangle and place it from here to here again, right? Once you've placed it from here to here, you'll see that on your 3D view, this wall, you can't really see much of it, but something has happened here. Okay, so once we're done that, let's actually click escape on the keyboard, and that exits out of the editing mode. So now we can see this in 3D and see this in 2D. For some reason, we placed our wall, okay? So we have one wall here, one wall here, one wall here and here, but we can't actually see it in 3D. The reason is because we have this thing called a section box. So a section box is how much you can see, right? It tells you how, it's like your vision. If you put your hands here, then you can't see to the side of your face, right? So this is my section box. So this section box, if we select it, we can actually extend this view up. And as you extend it up, now you can see where the wall has finished being placed, right? So if you actually select this wall and you go to 3D, you'll see that that wall gets selected on all views, 3D view and the 2D view. So you can actually see on the properties here, this is when we're going to start exploring with the properties. We can start to see the location line, the base constraint. So this means where are we starting the wall from? And then the top constraint, where are we ending the wall? Right now it says unconnected, right? But it says unconnected height of 8,000. So what this means is I'm not going to constrain this to any level, right? I'm not going to fix it to any level, but I'm going to let it go 8 meters up and stop, okay? What's the alternative? The alternative is if you had set up a certain level, so you know how you have a level 1 and level 0 here? If you select this wall and you select, instead of unconnected, you go level 1, well, that wall stops at level 1, okay? The benefit to this is as soon as you click level 1 and you shift this up from 4,000 to 5,000, then the wall shifts up with it, okay? So you can move the level and you can move everything at once. So whenever you're modeling, the best practice is to always constrain it to a level, okay? So you will notice that I've just moved one of these up to level 1, but I want these 3 to go up at the same time, or like be constrained to level 1 at the same time. So on my keyboard, if I select tab and I select this wall, what it's going to do is it's actually going to select every single one of those walls. Okay, so like you can select a whole chain of things that are connected by clicking the thing by selecting tab, okay? Click plus tab equals select everything. And so you can now change this to the top constraint of level 1. And what that's going to do is now it's just going up to level 1, which is 5 meters above, right? Cool, so we've added our wall, and let's just add our ceiling or our roof. It's very simple again, roof by footprint. You have created the roof to the lowest level. Would you like to move it to level 1? Yes, because we want to add the roof to level 1, right? Revit knows that you have a level 0 and a level 1. You want to add it to the level which is the highest because that's where your roof starts, right? You don't want to add it to level 0. Let's select level 1. And what that means is now the roof is going to start. Click boundary line so we can get this square. And we can go from here all the way to here. Click enter. And congratulations, you've added a roof, okay? So you have a floor, you have a wall, and you have a roof. This is very simple. And what you can do now is on your 3D view, you can actually edit the roof. You can make this go down. You can select this, and once you double click this, you go into your editing mode. You can select this and you can change the slope. You can turn this slope off. What that's going to do is it's just going to make it a roof looking like this instead of it sloping inwards. And I can do the same thing with this side. So I can double click the wall of the roof again, turn this slope off on this side, click enter, and you have this different type of roof, right? These are the two different types of roofs that we can have for houses. If I select this and if I select this, right? The way that I selected both walls at the same time is I use my control key on my keyboard, and then I go attach top / base. If I go like that and then I select this roof, it's going to extend to the roof. Okay. So I've shown you how to place a floor. I've shown you how to place walls. I've shown you how to place a roof. I've shown you how to extend things so that it goes up to the level, and we adjusted it to level 1. Then I showed you how to connect the walls to the roof. The last thing we can do is just add doors and windows. So this is very simple. You can do this on 3D view as well as 2D view. It's very simple. You just need to go to architecture, and everything is here on the architecture tab for you, right? I'm just showing you the easiest way to get started so you can actually start to go and mess around with these now and actually start, trying to figure it out for yourself. The hardest part about Revit is understanding initially how to do everything. Once I've taught you this, you can actually go ahead and start learning everything now. So if you want to add some doors, click door, and you can do this on 3D view, right? On 3D view, you can just put a door here, put a door here, put a door here. You can rotate around. You can put a door here. You can put a door here. You can click escape. So now you've added a bunch of doors. And if you go to level 0, you'll see that these doors have been added on our level 0 plan. And this is actually not a good practice to put it in our 3D. You have to, most of the time, go to a floor plan and add it in here because you want to dimension it properly to the side of a wall or the side of a roof or something like that, right? So this isn't how a house would be. Like, we wouldn't have this many doors. We'd probably only have one like this, and then you'd want to add some windows. So let's add some windows. The sill height is 1,200. That means from the bottom of the house, it's going to be starting at 1.2 meters. And let's add a window here, two here, two here, and two here. All right. Click escape, go to your 3D view, and you have a bunch of windows all around the house. So this is the most basic house based on 3D views and 2D views, adding floors, walls, and everything. You can go and play around with the rest of Revit now, since I've given you sort of an introduction, a quick start guide to using everything. One thing that I haven't told you so far, the last thing you need to know, is the project browser. This project browser will contain every single sheet and view and floor plan and everything that you ever have. It's the table contents of a book. When you open a book, you have the table of contents. Project browser is the table of contents. So if you want to go to like level 1, right, you double click that and you go to your level 1. If you want to go to level 0, you double click that, you go to level 0. If you want to extend this 3D views, you can click this and it's going to open your 3D view. If you want to go to a ceiling plan, you can click this and it's going to open a ceiling plan for you, right? And so if you want to put this on a sheet and print this out at your office, you can go to these sheets and you can click this and it's going to open that sheet. We have to actually set this up by pulling a floor plan in. So like technically now that you've opened up a sheet, you'd go to level zero and you would place that in here. And then you can start to edit everything on the sheet. You can start to dimension everything inside here. And then this is going to be printed out, right? But this is the table of contents. And you can close these tabs just by clicking X, X, X. And then you have your 3D view. And this is your first house. You've successfully been inducted into Revit 2025 very quickly. And now you can go and start your own stuff and play around with this and model your own stuff, right? Good luck. If you've made it to the end of this video, congratulations. And if you want to work with me one-on-one where you have to turn your brain off and just do what I say, and in 0 to 30 days, you will go from beginner to expert against your own will, and I'll help you land your first job, then click the first link in the description, work with me, and we'll take you from complete beginner to Revit expert who's able to actually shortcut their career for the next 5 to 10 years. I'll see you there.